Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, June 10, 2023, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. You realize that everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match that frequency of reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. See, not everybody looks at what's happening or in front of them as being a sign of negativity. Some view it as very positive, as a cleansing and elimination rather than a doom and gloom scenario. And it can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics, Albert Einstein. This universe we live in is more intelligent than the mind can even come close to comprehending. There are many hidden dimensions to everything and everyone within it. There are so many dimensions and frequency dimensions, and they're endless. So when we talk fifth dimension, 5 density frequency, there's billions more, if not trillions. We truly exist in the most fascinating, multi-dimensional, and infinitely mysterious field of conscious, intelligent energy. This is it's a divine harmonic matrix, and is vibrating with life all around us. It is inside us. It is constantly connecting with our every breath, thought, emotion, and heartbeat. And when you take time to look around you and realize everything is constantly exploding in an orgasm of wild, unabandoned creativity. Everywhere, just take this planet, for instance. Millions of flowers blossoming, giving birth to the most amazing sights and scents. Sacred geometric crystals are forming perfect patterns beneath the Earth's crust. Millions of animals, birds, insects, and humans are having intercourse in the most interesting positions. This is just a tiny tip of the iceberg as to all the wild, mysterious, and beautiful things happening on this planet, right in this now. When one observes nature long enough, you will see everything is always changing, including you. It is said that we cannot step into the same river twice. We can't even step in the same river once, because everything is changing. That's why, have you ever gone back or rekindled a relationship from past, right? But it didn't feel right. It felt out of position. That's why, because it has changed. Everything changes. Nothing. There's only one thing that doesn't change, and that is the God within that body. That's the only thing that doesn't change. That is the only thing that is real. The rest, all illusion. Everything's an illusion. We cannot have the same sequence of thought patterns and feelings that we had last month or last year. Our mind and emotional intelligence is continuously growing, evolving, and changing. We were born highly intelligent beings who were never meant to outgrow the small trousers we once wore in the 2nd grade. We really want to try and put them on now. Now, if you took a electron microscope and you looked into the DNA inside every cell in your body, you would find that they all contain a sacred imprint that is unique to you. And each quantum particle of your DNA is this wild and uncharted, magnificent, intelligent mystery within it. And this mysterious intelligence is embedded with the foundation of your blood, bones, and brain. You cannot escape from it, no matter how hard you try. Now, what's interesting is that the mind tends to take for granted this sacred mystery every day. The mind has this tendency to create habits, fall into these little comfort zones of thought, safe emotional thought patterns. It finds ideas which label life, placing ourselves and others into tiny compartmentalized little thought boxes so we can feel more secure, self-assured, somewhat organized, standing in the face of this wild, uncharted, infinite mystery that's surrounding us in all directions. The moment we put anything in this divine existence into a thought box, we forget all about enjoying a state of devotion and worship to the divine mystery. The instant we forget about the great mystery of this life, we initiate the suffering process. Every experience of this life thereafter becomes a challenge as we live from the head and not from the heart. Most of us live from the head. The mind is a master at continuously getting lost and believing all its inner thought structures are real, and they're not. In fact, the mind is an illusion. And when our intellect holds tight onto fixed beliefs, it thinks life will feel more manageable, giving the illusion of control and the sensation that we are becoming wiser. Yet, this hard-coded, know-it-all mindset demolishes our childlike curiosity. It abolishes any form of reverence for this deeply sacred divine mystery. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. One cannot help but be in awe when he contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery every day. Never lose a holy curiosity, Albert Einstein. One of the greatest mysteries ever discovered in this life is the human psyche. The human psyche is the accumulation of other people's thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions that we've adopted and inherited as our own. All these beliefs from the entire experience of ourselves, other people, this world, and our entire reality, the way we think, how we think, why we think this way and not that way, is the core network of our psyche and makes us behave more like predictable machines than a live cosmic orgasm. The human psyche, however, has a magical side to it, in that whatever we accept as the truth becomes what we actually manifest physically into our lives. And that whatever we accept as the truth becomes what we actually manifest physically into our lives. Now, this may be one of the most awesome mysteries mankind has to explore. Our foundational belief structure is so powerful, pervasive, and penetrating that it always manifests itself in every single possible outcome and experience we have. Our foundational belief structure is so powerful, pervasive, and penetrating that it always manifests itself in every single possible outcome and experience we have. This universe always, always, always supports whatever you believe. It's very important to understand this and let it saturate you. This universe always supports whatever you believe. If deep down you believe you are not a lovable person, the universe will constantly manifest for you the most challenging people, negative situations, and experiences that support this belief inside. And when you truly believe you are lovable, the universe will slather your life with sweet, loving beings devoted to caring about you, honoring you, and caring for your needs in the most intimate, vulnerable ways. This intelligent universe, universal energy simply follows thought. Whatever you believe about you is where the energy flows and manifests into the entire show all around you. What does that really mean? That means whatever you focus on, whatever you're thinking, about whatever you're seeing, right? Hearing, feeling, the universe makes it a reality that you live in it. Now, in we're in a very highly advanced, comparatively speaking, technological time. And people tend to believe science easier than religion. If you can prove God is real in a lab, then it must be true, right? What's fascinating about this time frame in our lives is that the quantum physicists of this world have ventured so deep into particles that they have had to merge their scientific understanding within a spiritual context. And the danger of that is that they don't know what a spiritual context is, since their whole lives have been spent in scientific evaluation. And their practical Newtonian vocabulary doesn't have the words to explain the outrageous results they are finding. Now, see how dangerous this can become. We picture a group of scientists developing an AI, right? And since they are not spiritual, they have not gone with them, they have not discovered who and what they really are, they haven't surrendered or forgiven themselves on all existing planes, and they do not have very much trust, confidence, and faith in themselves or the universe. What do you think is going to happen? I'll leave that to you to ponder. Now, how can they use more spiritual words and concepts to bridge the understanding of these hard-coded scientific results if they are not in it? How can they explain, and this goes to everything, how can they explain why two quantum particles have their own consciousness? If they don't know the grand design. And how is everything so connected? When pain and suffering occurs on this planet, all of us feel it. It doesn't necessarily mean that we comprehend it or identify with it, but we feel it. And pain and suffering is in a natural state for any of us. So let's say that, you're communicating with someone, or you know someone, who's like 10, 11,000 miles away. And they're going through pain, suffering, challenge, right? Now, before you can communicate with them, you sense that this is happening with them. How can that be? Is it psyche? Well, that's other people's thoughts. What's the connection? How is that possible? Because we're one. We all make up one. And yet we appear to be separate. And we've designed it that way so that we can experience, each one of us, many different things continuously. We're very near the major discovery of the existence of humanity. We're getting very near, some of us, to opening that book. Or the door to the divine, to the God that each of us are in these bodies. So could that conceivably mean that in eventuality, every one of us will come full circle of understanding that we can create anything? See, the universe is a materializer. You are the universe, and the universe is you. And the universe acts as a materializer, which means in this physical life. So you put it out there, and the universe creates it. That's the synergistic relationship that we have with the universe. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you have put your intent to the universe, and the universe will create it. The dangerous part is that most of us don't know that. And even if we claim we do, we don't really believe most of it. Why it is so rare that one discovers it and embraces it with deep gratitude, that they can literally manifest anything they choose. This civilization can manifest a complete peace in 24 hours and maintain that peace for millions of years. This civilization, with what we contain within these bodies, it's endless. Isn't it ironic how we maneuver in these bodies on this planet in this time? How we believe, the way we believe, the way we believe. And as long as we maintain that belief, we will get that same result from the universe. And why is it, though? Why is it that the majority of us don't practice it? What's up with that? Why don't we practice it? Figure this out. It's not really difficult once you're honest with yourself and you go within. And you begin to surrender and let go, drop the baggage that you don't really need to carry because it doesn't serve you any good, greater good at all. But we carry, because of we're in physical form, we carry this propensity to be afraid of everything. Fear of death, fear of love, fear of hate, fear of poverty, fear of wealth, fear of happiness, fear of sadness, fear of joy. I mean, it goes on and on and on. We have an innate, it is innate with these bodies, an innateness that we are pretty much afraid of everything. So what does that mean? It means that we are stymied and we're in this bubble that we've created. And it almost puts us in almost cryogenic freeze where we don't move, don't do anything because we're so cut off from ourselves. And the major area for all of us in order to eliminate this frozen state is to let it all go. Let it all go. Surrender it. And you begin to understand that why so many of us are in this kind of a frozen state, because of the fact that we don't like ourselves, we don't love ourselves, we don't nurture ourselves, we don't take care of ourselves, emotionally, mostly, and physically some. And we stay in this distraction. And then we wonder why we don't manifest what we've asked for. It's a kind of a conundrum. When we have all this power, and yet we don't believe we do. And because of the influence of the ego mind, it will do everything to make sure that we don't. That we believe we don't. Our opportunities for each of us are unlimited. They're forever. Anything that we choose, once we understand who and what we are, is very crucial. And we also understand that we've got to reprogram our subconscious mind. That's where everything is that each of us have accumulated through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And it's our recorder. It's no different if you've got this, endless, endless recording device, little handheld ones, right? But it's unlimited as far as space. There's no set space. And it records everything. It is immediate. And it stores it, and it replays. And you are the recipient of that every time. Now, when you're not aware, and you haven't decided to go within, stay within, be in deep gratitude 24/7, gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, surrender any of the things that, and face them, any of the things you're carrying that are causing you discomfort, that are restricting your bliss, your happiness, your joy, whatever they may be. And obviously each and every one of us have differences as far as those things go. But majority of us carry it until we leave the body. Now, once we discover that the subconscious mind is a super recorder, and it's recorded everything since we've entered these bodies. So the human psyche, which is other people's thoughts. And each of us are programmed on other people's thoughts. Why do you think history repeats itself? Because we're all programmed with other people's thoughts, and that cycle is replayed over and over and over again, generation after generation. Let's say that you have a garage, right? And you get a new vehicle. And you say to yourself, boy, it'd really be nice when I'm able to put this vehicle in that garage. Now, you open the garage, you look in there, and it is overflowing with stuff. Some of it you don't even know what it is because you don't remember putting it there. And you look at you only have a one stall, you don't have a two stall garage. And you're looking at that garage and you're saying, I've got to get to that, and I've got to clean all that stuff out so I can put this new car in there and protect it from the elements. And that's what garages are for anyway, to protect your vehicle from the elements. And you kind of say, I'll do it. But you never do. And then when you have more stuff, you put it in that garage. And each time you do that, you say, I've got to get to this, and I've got to take all this. I've got to just inventory stuff and find out what all this stuff is and get rid of it, condense it, whatever. And you find yourself, you're not using it. And your tools are so buried back there on the wall that you can't get to them without cleaning out the garage. So the garage is your subconscious mind. And all of these things that we experience, the majority of the time come from the subconscious mind. We don't realize that when thoughts come in, they are not ours. They're other people's. When we send thoughts out, they're ours. We've generated new thoughts. Most of the time, we are literally under the guide or direction of the ego mind and other people's thoughts. And this is when we embrace them. We take them in. We literally take the thought is really just a thought. And then you give it energy. And then it forms into a reality that you experience. But that's, you see, each of us makes the decision. This lifetime, the next lifetime, the next, whatever, to go within and to reprogram our subconscious minds. So the thoughts that the subconscious records are yours. Very powerful. They're your thoughts. They aren't the ego mind's thoughts. They're yours. They are not the subconscious mind replay of other people's thoughts. They're yours. And you're putting them as a recording device that the subconscious mind is, and you're storing them there. Quite interesting, isn't it? So as you store them there, then when it randomly plays them back, they're your thoughts. So you are much better and much more able to identify them and know that they're your thoughts. Some of those thoughts that you created in reality worked, some didn't. But you'll know it because they're yours. They came from you. And the thoughts that you generate go out. They don't come in. These are things that we choose to apply ourselves to or not. Sooner or later, all of us will take that journey, which is basically a mini journey of the one journey, which is forever. But we'll discover it. And that's when everything will change. We have this, it's almost like, it's like an inherent curious nature to want to put labels on things, people, ourselves, and create a universal law of attraction that will solve this great manifesting mystery of this life. We believe that if we have more concrete global understanding of this life, then we can relax and rest even deeper into our spiritual nature. Perhaps only a fool would believe that we need something external to let go and relax internally. Why would we need to feel inferior to being one with Mother Nature just so as to push away our insecurity and strive towards a need to feel superior? And again, we go back to the human psyche, other people's thoughts. This is the greatest mystery of them all. Now, good suggestion by Ramana Maharishi. All that we have to do, choose to do, is to give up identifying with the body, with forms and limits. And then we shall know ourselves as the infinite self that we always are. And why do we always have to take the long road? You ever notice that? It's like the human psyche says, well, the long road, you've got to take the long road because that you've got to know everything. Right? So instead of taking the long road, why not just look inside your source of consciousness itself and discover real evidence of where consciousness comes from? Because you're carrying it. All of us are. We don't need scientists to develop some kind of machine, right, that finds the source of consciousness. Then mankind will feel like a god instead of be one. See, there's a lot of things transitioning for us. And it's the source is coming from us that implements the transition and the shifts. in consciousness. But it's going to boil down to that we all take the step, walk through the door, and immerse ourselves in this amazing manifesting power that's already inside us. It blows my mind that it's quite ironic that more people are not accessing it. Blows my mind. We all have it. And yet, how many of us are stuck in jobs we don't like? I did interviews with people, and when I was in the job placement business, I learned a lot about the human psyche and people. And I did a survey study, and I asked 1,500 people one question: do you like your job? I had 93% of them say no, to varying levels. I had 7% that said yes. Honest, being honest, right? So being stuck in jobs we don't like, relationships we lose energy battling with every day, and we are either having some sort of food, drug, alcohol, or sex addiction that is taking priority over any real deep spiritual devotion and exploration. Why is that? It's pretty simple. It's pretty darn simple. The mind keeps focusing on what we don't want and thus keeps manifesting more of the same. New thoughts rarely have space to form. Then after about 70, 80, 90 years, the human being has wasted all its precious energy on magnetizing on what it doesn't want and doesn't have. On magnetizing on what it doesn't want and doesn't have. Can we disagree? Is it possible to disagree with that? I don't think so. It's pretty much the norm for the civilization. We spend our lives, the short right now in this moment, the shortness of those lives, by focusing on what we don't want and thus keep manifesting more of the same. Pretty much. It's pretty self-explanatory. And because of that, new thoughts rarely have space to form. So we leave the body. And the majority of us, when we leave the body, are going, how could I have wasted all that precious energy on literally magnetizing on what it doesn't want and doesn't have? And the only reason that any of us are not always manifesting everything that we want is because we cannot keep our mind focused long enough on feelings that you are receiving that one thing that you truly desire to have. It's that simple. I guess you could call it our attention span. We lose interest in focusing on what we want. Doesn't that sound funny? We do. We lose interest. We get bored with it. It's kind of like, and then we wander off into other things. And so we leave it behind. And that's what happens to the majority of the civilization. Every day. And this is a choice, is to retrain the brain to stay focused. Fiercely, deeply, and resolutely focus. Only then will we become the manifesting masters of our world. And when we practice meditation, and the simplest, and I've had a lot of people say to me, what is meditation? It's sitting and being quiet. That's it. That's it. Putting yourself in a quiet place, focusing on the breath, being in the now. That's it. That's meditation. And once we practice that enough, and our attention span is much more, the day will come where we will attain mastery over our mind and actually reach a state of physical mastery over our physical world. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. An easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. This moment is your opportunity to embrace your divine existence. Nothing is holding you back. Your skeptical mind is not who you truly are, so simply let it go. The burdens you carry do not exist. They are all in the illusions of the mind. Stop thinking, planning, and pretending. It is too much effort to always be doing. Just stop randomly throughout the day today and go directly to the source of who you really are. Forget about everything that you should be and remain fixed upon what is real and true inside you. For the next 7 minutes, breathe slowly and deeply and release all the heaviest illusions which you get caught in that weigh you down every day. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, following morning. We'll return here Sunday, June 11, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on around you.